few weeks ago, I picked up my third Contax Zeiss Vintage stills lens, and this is the first lens I've ever owned that is over 70mm long. And the lens that I picked up is the Contax Zeiss 85mm f2.8 AEG, and it is stunning. So if you're new around here, I've been building out a Contax Zeiss vintage lens set because I'm a cinematographer and I want fun stills vintage lenses that give tons of character. And I've already made 2 of these videos before. I've made one for the 28 f2.8 and the 50 1.4. And if you want to check out those test videos, I will link those down below. But for this video, we're talking about the 85mm f2.8. And for a while, I was debating if I wanted the 1.4 or the 2.8, and just going back and forth because the 1.4 is gorgeous, but it's a lot bigger than this 2.8. I ended up pulling the trigger on this f2.8, and I got it in the AEG because I guess the AEG is the only one that has like an all metal build. For some reason, Contax Zeiss didn't make the AEJ or the MMG or MMJ with metal. So I heard that over on the Contax Zeiss forum on Facebook. So I ended up going with the West Germany version. And all my lenses are AE, so they have that really unique Ninja Star bokeh. And honestly, I don't mind it at all. I actually think it's kind of cool. I don't really need circular bokeh, and if you stop down, the circular bokeh goes away anyways. But when I first picked up this lens, I noticed right away how small it is. It basically is the same size as my 50mm and my 28. So far my 3 lens kit is pretty small. And that's a really cool thing about these Contax lenses is that they're super crisp, they have really unique character, and when they're stopped down just a tiny bit, they're tack sharp, but they're also really small and pretty affordable. When I started shooting with this right away, I noticed how funky this lens is. It just has like a really cool elliptical rainbow flare. And I have no clue why that is. It still has the same T-star coating. But I noticed right away that this 85mm is going to be one of my favorite lenses to work with. This focal length is really fun for landscapes and picking out different compositions, and I've never really worked with an 85 before. I've worked with 24 to 70s pretty much my entire life, and having something a little bit tighter than 70 is really fun to use. And the 2.8 is plenty. I don't need 1.4 on this lens. I'm not going to be shooting wide open all the time. If I'm going to use this for landscapes, I'm going to be stopping down anyway, so it's no big deal. I actually prefer the size of this lens. I haven't really seen the 1.4 in person, but I've seen side-by-sides on the internet, and this 2.8 definitely fits my need for having a small compact kit. And just like the other Contax Zeiss lenses I own, it has a very long focus throw, which is so nice for manual focusing and pulling focus as a solo operator. Sometimes it gets a little tricky when you're doing heavy rack focuses, but for the most part, I'm not doing anything like that. I'm doing small increments, which ends up working out really well because of how smooth it is. But if you're considering between the 1.4 and the 2.8, just get the 2.8 if you need to upgrade down the road. You could sell that and grab the 1.4 if you needed it. Okay, so that was the whole backstory behind this lens and why I purchased it and all that. In the last few weeks, I've been testing out this lens and just trying to figure out the quirks of it and just really how to shoot with it, and I've been really enjoying it. All the footage you see here is shot on the Sony FX3. Some of the footage is shot with the lens with the Contax Zeiss adapter to E, but in the middle of all that, I converted it to EF, so all the recent stuff is now with my really nice NovoFlex adapter. This lens is super small, but still has some heft to it, so shooting handheld is no big deal. All the footage is also shot with the NiSi IRND filters, and I hope you guys enjoy all the footage I got so far with the Contax Zeiss 85mm f2.8 AEG. It's a gorgeous lens. I highly recommend it if you have a Contax Zeiss kit, and I just highly recommend an 85mm in general. Most people use it for portraits, but for landscapes and for establishing shots, you really can't go wrong. If you have any questions about this lens, just leave them down below. See you guys next week. Peace out.